Breaking news for you this morning. Part of 43rd Avenue near Highland shut down because of a deadly pedestrian accident. We are giving you a live look this morning at the scene. You can see it's not a very big one. There are officers on scene, though, and so far we're not sure what caused this crash or if anyone is in custody. And we're also working to find out how that pedestrian is doing. And as we get those updates, we will bring them to you.
Now for the very latest on the coronavirus and restrictions on businesses. Right now, many retail stores, they're getting ready to open on Monday. Those stores, they will be reopening with some restrictions, however, and some businesses are refusing to wait until then, and they want to open up immediately. The governor is asking for patience, but several local stores and restaurants deciding to defy his order and reopened yesterday. One salon owner in Peoria telling ABC 15 that without any financial help waiting for the order to be lifted, it could spell disaster for her livelihood.
My industry is people, and I care about people. I'm not opening for greed. I'm not opening for any of that. I'm opening because I love people, and the choice that I made was to be here, to be open, to be present, and I'm happy with my choice.
Meanwhile, other Arizona businesses faced consequences for reopening early. This barbershop in Yuma was forced to close, and restaurants and shops in Wickenburg that were caught allowing customers inside had to later kick them out. But no one was cited criminally for going against those state orders.
Mark, some Arizonans are so unhappy about the governor's orders closing businesses that they're now trying to force him out of office. A group called Arizonans for Liberty has filed a petition to recall Governor Ducey in November. In the paperwork, they call his executive order unconstitutional and claim that he failed to address citizens' grievances. Arizonans have a constitutional right to recall any public official for any reason. Because of that, these petitions are pretty easy to file. But for anything to really happen, the Secretary of State's website does say that that group would need nearly 600,000 approved signatures by the end of August.
Now let's take a look at the coronavirus numbers in our state. The number of Arizonans who have tested positive now surpassing 7,900. That's an increase of 1,000 since Tuesday. 330 people in Arizona so far have died. One of those cases in the Maricopa County prison system, and it's the first confirmed case in that system so far. We're told that the patient was arrested last weekend and was isolated as soon as they started showing symptoms during the intake process. So far, we do not know which jail this happened in, but we're told that they did not have any contact with other inmates and staff who were exposed to that patient. They are now being tested and notified.
And across the state's entire prison system, there are dozens of cases. And after legal pressure from ABC 15, the Arizona Department of Corrections now revealing the number of staff who have tested positive for coronavirus. So far, we know that 46 employees have self-reported positives. That confirms ABC 15 investigator Dave Biscabing's reporting. He discovered dozens of staff infected throughout the prison system. While it's a start, we are still pushing for more. It is important to know which prisons are affected because they can be hubs for further community spread. So far, 45 inmates in Arizona's prisons have been diagnosed with COVID-19. We can confirm 3 of them have died and a 4th is now under investigation.
Today, the state of Arizona is starting what it's calling its testing blitz. The goal here, of course, is to test between 30 and 60,000 people over the next 3 weekends. So what do you need to know about this? The State Department of Health Services setting up locations in Maricopa, Pima, and Coconino counties. Anyone experiencing symptoms, they can get tested. You just need to register at azdhs.gov. You will need to self-quarantine until you receive your results. And the increase in testing, it could mean that we may see a really big spike in cases coming up here in the next coming weeks. Nohe.
Here's the sad reality. Nearly 65,000 people in this country have died from COVID-19. Nearly 10,000 of them just since Monday. And this morning, we're learning more about efforts to fast-track treatments and vaccines as some states move forward with controversial plans to restart their economies. Here's ABC's Ty Hernandez with the latest.
The number of new COVID-19 cases still rising in at least 18 states. Massachusetts seeing its highest one-day death toll this week. The same in Texas, one of at least 32 states where restrictions have been eased or will be within the next week. Restaurants like this one in Houston taking extra precautions.
They seem to be taking it very seriously. They have markers for every 6 feet.
Protesters in California and several other states demanding businesses reopen there too.
I think we've had enough time at this. I think it's time that we open up and get our economy rolling again.
Demonstrators in Michigan, some armed, packing into the state capitol. The governor saying she understands people want to get back to work, but says she found the scene disturbing.
Swastikas and Confederate flags, nooses, and automatic rifles do not represent who we are as Michiganders.
President Trump tweeting his support for the demonstrators, saying the governor of Michigan should give a little. These are very good people, but they are angry. But some doctors in that state raising concerns that it's still too soon.
In rural parts of this country, there is no way that we are near a peak. The fact that people think because numbers are low, that are reported, that we are in the clear, that it's not coming, that is absolutely ridiculous.
The FDA now authorizing the drug remdesivir as the first potential emergency treatment for COVID-19 patients. And more than 100 possible vaccines are in development around the world, at least 8 of them now approved for human trials.
It feels really gratifying to be able to move the science forward on this.
The Trump administration pushing to have a vaccine tested and mass-produced with enough doses for most Americans by the end of the year.
I hope we're going to have a vaccine and we're going to fast-track it like you've never seen before.
Ty Hernandez, ABC News, New York.
A New Mexico city that borders the Navajo Nation, it's on lockdown right now. The governor there has been invoking this new policy. It's called the New Mexico Riot Control Act, and that's being enacted on Gallup. Gallup is in McKinley County, where more than 1,000 people have tested positive for the virus. That accounts for more than 30% of the state's cases. Right now, all roads in and out of the city are blocked off, and businesses are under a curfew until Monday. Interstate 40 runs through Gallup. New Mexico State Police and the National Guard are in Gallup telling drivers that they cannot come in.
I-40 is going to remain open. Just the only thing that's going to be closed in that area is going to be the off-ramps, any exits leading into the city of Gallup.
We have to do what we think is right, so somebody has to care for what's happening.
People who do not follow those rules, they could face criminal charges. And the Navajo Nation, as you know, they've been struggling with a lot of cases and an outbreak of its own. The tribe is under another weekend curfew. 2,300 people on the reservation have tested positive. More than 70 have passed away so far.
Ooh, that sound, you just gotta love it. Eyes turning to the skies as Valley healthcare workers were honored with this flyover salute from Luke Air Force Base yesterday. More than a dozen jets crisscrossing all the way from Buckeye out to Mesa, flying over Valley Wise Hospital as employees there waved their flags and held up their signs.
It means a lot because it shows that they are supporting us and that we're one country and we're all united and we're in this together and we'll make it through.
And I saw a lot of our viewers actually planning where they were going to go out so they could watch the flyover as well, because of course those planes were trying to track their way overhead of all Valley hospitals. The flyover really is a reminder, like she said, that no matter the distance between us, we're all in this together. This is our common bond right now, as difficult as it can be. But we can also take time to thank all of the people who are really making a difference to keep our community as safe as possible. So that was just a really beautiful tribute. Absolutely lovely. All right, let's talk about that most accurate forecast. I was excited to finally be able to say double digits for today's forecast. Now 98 degrees. I know that's not much of a cool down, But just some perspective, the record for this day is 107 that was set back in 1947. So we're in the 70s now. We will warm into the upper 80s, but we should avoid those triple digits today. And really, that does make just a little bit of a difference. You feel every degree. So we're not going to be anywhere near record heat, but we are still in the high to moderate category for potential for sunburn, dehydration, heat illness. So you've got to remember to hydrate today and slather on that sunscreen, especially if you're going to be spending some time out at the pool. I'm going to walk you through the rest of this afternoon's forecast hour by hour. Plus, I have a look at those statewide highs coming up in that full forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, no, hey, I was not excited for you to say triple digits, by the way. Well, happening today, the Feeding Mesa Canned Food Drive. The drive-through event runs from 8 o'clock until noon. It's taking place at the Red Mountain Center. The address is right there on your screen. People are asked to donate canned goods or other non-perishable items. After today's event, there will be drives every Wednesday at different locations.
It's going to cost you a bit more to get to the airport once it is safe to travel again. We're going to talk about how much money you should plan to start shelling out.
And a brand new police department opening in the Valley, and they are on the hunt for their first ever police chief. Welcome back, everybody. It's just about 5:15 on your Saturday morning, and we've been telling you about this one for quite a while. It's going to cost you quite a bit more if you plan to travel to and from Sky Harbor Airport using the rideshare facilities, Uber or Lyft. Now, the city's new rideshare fees on airport trips to Sky Harbor, that kicked off yesterday after months of legal battles. So here's how it will impact you. All rideshare trips to and from the airport will cost an extra $4. Taxis, shuttles, and charter buses will also now be charged for both pickups and drop-offs. But if you catch a rideshare to the Sky Harbor train station, those fees will be dropped by 30%. The town of Queen Creek is now looking for a new police chief. The town voting last month to create their own police department instead of contracting with the Maricopa County's Sheriff's Office. The requirements for police chief include a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, business management, or a related field, at least 10 years of policing experience, including 7 years of management responsibilities as a lieutenant or above.
Let's talk about that most accurate forecast now. We are off to a gorgeous start this morning. That sunrise time getting earlier and earlier, so the official time is at 5:38 this morning. Live view of the Papagos, though, and we've got some gorgeous colors to start off the day. Also, our temperatures right now, just a little perspective for you, we're actually a degree cooler than we were this time 24 hours ago. Flagstaff is down by a degree, Show Low is down by a degree as well, and Payson is 4 degrees cooler than it was. Temperatures right now across the state, they are still cold up in the high country, just above that freezing point in Flagstaff and sitting right at freezing in the Grand Canyon, so hard to even believe anybody's still that cold. We're much more mild in Show Low this morning at 50 degrees. It's 61 in Sedona. Southern portion of the state, we're in the 60s and 70s. Right now here in the Valley, we've got a little bit of a mixed bag. Few of you are starting the morning off in the upper 60s, so nice and pleasant out there if you're in Levine or Ahwatukee. Oh, live temperature change in Levine, just dropping to 66 degrees. Maybe now's the time to get out for a run. 66 in Gilbert and Chandler as well. 68 in Deer Valley and 65 in Cave Creek. We've got 70s in the central portion of the valley, and we'll all work our way into the 70s through the 6-7 o'clock hour. In fact, our warm-up is still going to be pretty rapid. What was that on camera? I'm guessing a fly. Probably. They want to get out this early in the morning too because it's more comfortable. Upper 70s is what we're looking at by 8 a.m. already. We'll be in the upper 90s or upper 80s rather by 11, and we will cross over into the 90s in the second half of the day. But today I think most valley cities will avoid triple digits. With the exception of Maricopa. Sorry, guys. Otherwise, we're looking at 98 degrees across most of the valley from Goodyear to Ahwatukee, Tempe, as well as Queen Creek. We're looking at the mid-90s in Apache Junction and Fountain Hills and low 90s up in Anthem and Cave Creek. So I know it's still warm, but just a little perspective, when you're not hitting triple digits, you notice every degree of that slight cool down. We've got more upper 90s to our south, 99 in Casa Grande, 98 in Gila Bend, and 90s along our western border. Lake Havasu City, though, likely crossing into those triple digits. We'll be in the low 80s in Sedona. Gorgeous weather for you. 70s in Flagstaff and upper 70s in Show Low. 78 is your high. Now, We warmed to 98 today. The average should be 90, so we are still warmer than we should be this time of year, but we'll be a ways off from that record that I mentioned earlier, 107, set back in the 40s. Our air quality today and for the rest of the weekend, for that matter, is going to stay in the moderate category. We don't have any high pressure building, so that's helping keep our ozone steady, and our levels of dust and smoke are pretty low. Tomorrow, more double digits again, 99 degrees, a little bit warmer, but again, at least it's not triple digits. And keep this in mind because that long range outlook, 107 by the middle of the week. So when you see that temperature change, suddenly 98, 99 maybe isn't that bad to deal with. So enjoy the rest of the weekend. At least we will be dry. I'll talk about if we get any warmer than this 107 in that 7-day forecast coming up a little later this morning. Mark.
Yeah, 98, 99, sounding downright chilly right now. No, hey, thanks so much. Well, new this morning, Odyssey Aquarium surprising one of its diehard fans with a Zoom tour of the aquarium. 4-year-old Landon has been extremely sad because he couldn't visit his favorite place. His mom let Odyssey know about it in a video, and the aquarium's general manager decided to arrange a private Zoom call with him. Landon and his siblings, they got to check out their favorite animals like sharks, sea otters, sea lions, and much, much more. We'll be right back after this short break.